Hello, it's Janice. I am gardening in Hague, Saskatchewan, Zone 3. I want to do a tour of my garden. First shot right from my stairs of my deck. I just thought it was so pretty with the blooms going on right now. So I'm just going to focus on maybe the flowers that are actually blooming, because otherwise we'd be here forever. For those of you that want to see my gnome garden with a big massive trunk, it has a 13-foot diameter. I hope the sun and the shade won't be too bad to see things, but such a nice day, I had to do it today. We'll just walk around the gnome and fairy garden. The birds don't understand shh. That's okay. Love the birds. Became satellite dish turned gazebo. In here I have jazzberry, supertunia, and dichondra silver falls. This birdhouse has a wren nesting in it. You can hear her. A couple of planters that are filling in with self-seeded things, or not self-seeded things, I seeded. Zinnias, marigolds, lilium, and some creeping Jenny in there, and some Dusty Miller at the back. My little trike with a dianthus, some sedums in the front that are starting to bloom. And of course, the wood shed has the same as this pot. Petunias, coleus. I also have cannas and callas and Dusty Miller. And the hops vine has reached the top. It is June 23rd, just in case you missed that. And we'll just go back to the gnome garden just a touch, show you the back side of it. I believe that the fuzz from the poplars has stopped, but it's still a mess to clean up, so excuse that part. Fire pit. This swing over, we've got a bench to sit on, and then what I've deemed Jaleesa's garden. The rose bush. Oh, did you guys see that butterfly come right in the screen? Where's my blooms? Starting to open some buds. Campfire rose. Lupin. Just a few of them blooming this year. Of course, there's all kinds of lilies and iris and other things in this garden that aren't blooming yet. Creeping Jenny. Dianthus, Sweet William, I believe. Double Play Big Bang Spirea. Most of these plants in here Acetum Autumn Joy. They're all from Julissa, which is why I dubbed it Julissa's garden. Japanese lilac is blooming, and oh my gosh, if you could smell it, it's a very sweet smell. Panning around. It's creeping thyme. Dianthus. Sarah Bernhardt peonies are blooming beautiful. Turk's cap lilies, the orange ones, and the yellow is the very end blooming of foxglove. Asters at the end of their life. Excuse me. This bench was made out of a bed frame. Oh, I should have zoomed out on the apple tree a little bit, but we're going to be getting quite a few apples. Lots of crab apple. This tree I grew from a seedling. It's a little peony bed with some creeping phlox, creeping dianthus, excuse me, on the bottom there. Two kinds of peony in this bed. Look at that beauty. Some of them are starting to go over. The lighthouse actually works. Bowl of Beauty. I know a couple of people that love that one. Cherry tree. There's going to be a few cherries on there. We took down the whole row of lilacs. That was right where you see the black posts there. And we have replaced that with Saskatoon berries, which are doing pretty good. I have a cream separator planted up with sedum. Iceland poppies. Irises are done. Creeping sedum in the front. Pretty yellow flowers. Now here's where we're trying to make a new path. I know I need to get more proper stepping stones, but for now this is just placeholders to mark how I want it to be. Some of the lilies are starting. Veronica's blooming quite nicely. And another spirea. Busy little bee. This is kind of the idea with the path that I wanted over the other side. And we've got all the bark from the big stump taken off. So a little bit of the raspberries. And there is my vegetable garden. I had to net the strawberries because of the fuzz and because of the house sparrows trying to peck at every little thing. I have a lot of empty spaces in my garden this year, but it's all I needed. A few radishes are ready. New ones are coming up. Could be good. Potatoes. doing excellent. Scarlet runner bean, starting to bloom. In the background there, you can see the hedge that the Virginia creeper is making. Isn't that gorgeous? The delphiniums blooming, purples and blues. Hopefully you can still see okay. The lighting is pretty harsh with the sun and the shadows. Or the delphinium. Just starting to come in. Looking good. Come around this way. Got some of the single poppies growing in with the dill and the Jacobo rose. Just starting to bloom. It's a climber, but we'll see how it's going to do. I want to have it in the tomato ring. I have 2 arbors that we've got in the garden, so put some lanterns on them. We're putting solar lights inside there. The other one is there by the shed. And then we have a corner piece here. That kind of marks out the vegetable garden, which is bordered with the delphinium and some lilies and a few other goodies. Hope for Humanity rose. Shooting up one big long stalk, but look at the pretty roses on the bottom. Gorgeous, eh? Very pretty. Quick fire hydrangea. This is the yarrow. Beautiful pink yarrow. And the very tall delphiniums, which are hitting 5 feet. It looks like they might be as tall as I am. 5'7". The big leaves back there are Ligulera. They'll bloom a tall yellow spike. And I also have the other one down there. And that one's got a cut leaf, which is also a Ligulera, and it'll also do that tall spike. So the plants can look quite different, but they're both Ligulera and will shoot up tall yellow spikes. This is my hybrid peony down here. Look at the seed heads. Aren't they just the coolest? Some have 5, some only have 3. Just beautiful. Peony back there. The daisies are starting to bloom. And this pole here, way up there, it's Purple Martin house. There's a couple of pairs of martins in there right now. Should be almost having their babies soon. Daisy's putting on a show. Got to come on this side just to show you the peony. The peonies, you guys, those big white ones are just, I'll put my hand in the picture if I can. Look at that. Gorgeous, eh? Always that one little splash of pink in the Festiva Maximus. And then you get the Sarah Bernhardt. How pretty is that? Gorgeous. And there's one there too, just opening up. Full of ants though. Yummy, yummy. But the Sarah, isn't she just gorgeous? Oh my gosh. Love it. Daylilies that will bloom yet, and of course a lot of Asiatic lilies. Can't wait for them to come out. Burning bush, just Turkestan burning bush. It's a euonymus. And back at the backside of Janice's garden with the beautiful Japanese lilac blooming. It's a new flower bed I started last year. There's a tiny white 9 bark. It'll only grow to be 3 to 3 feet tall and wide. Another Mother's Day gift from Jaleesa. Lamb's ear, my first year again trying to grow them. Hopefully this year they do better. They don't like a lot of water. A spirea from a friend. So Weeping Royalty ornamental crabapple. I love the look of that thing. My husband calls it the upside down tree, but it's growing on him. It's beautiful. One of my favorite, and if I can show you, it lines up pretty much right with our dining room window. There you can see a bit of it, that we can see it. Underneath I have on both sides zinnias that I started from seed. And we'll go down the boardwalk. There's some sage, some dianthus, some Asiatic lilies, columbine, Icelandic poppies. Painted daisies are pretty much done. Nice pop-out orange. I know it's the common lily, but it's the first one to bloom in my yard, so I like to keep a little bit of that. These are my bird feeders for the hummingbirds. Not too many of them around. They usually show up when the delphinium are blooming so nicely, and they are blooming, so we should be there now. Pan over the boardwalk, the rain gauge, the other side of the peonies, the Stephen Maximus and Sarah Bernhardt. Tons of lilies to open. Can't wait for that to happen. That always gives a good show. I might do another tour when they bloom because it changes the yard. I got one late hybrid peony. Cool. That is monkshood. And behind that I have some liatris. The veronicas are starting to bloom. Flag iris are still doing really pretty. And the summer asters are blooming. And I got one tiny little pink one. I guess I don't know, it seems like they're pretty short and not really doing anything. But the purple ones are going for it. In front of me is the euonymus Turkestan burning bush. I don't usually show this area of the garden, but I've got few things going on here now, and this is also where the messiness from the fuzz is the worst, because of course it's under those poplar trees there. There's also some beautiful elms and maples in there, but could do without the poplar. Salmon seal, bleeding heart, ferns. This place always struggles. Some creeping phlox and ferns and another ligulera. The rain barrels, I've got 7 of them this year. Hope it doesn't look too rain barrel-y around the yard, but it's the retaining wall stones, and I filled it up with hostas. And the wall fence on the property line. A few hostas on this side, bleeding heart. Climbers, both this is a clematis, alpine clematis, and this one is a beautiful flowering, I forget, it did have 3 blooms. There's the seed head of it, kind of pretty, but again, it gets too much shade from all those trees. We're making our way to the front yard. Just quickly walk along the hostas, which are doing really well. I have 2 large evergreens in the front and some juniper, creeping juniper in between them as we swing closer to the house. I have a small flower bed here with some peonies. Look at all this junk. I don't know what that is. It looks like worse than the fuzz. Some hostas, some bleeding hearts, dogwood, impatience. A couple of the stilby that I see, are throwing up little buds. Cute. Everything's covered in fuzz though. And there's another small one down there. And back there is 4 o'clocks that self-seed themselves every year. A ligulera, some fern, and a few more hostas. I'll just show you a couple of my pots that are maybe not the best, but calla lily is towards its end of its blooms. But there's a nice little one in there still. The birds are not impressed. I have some hostas in here, along with some begonia. Look at the mess. And these are my full sun. There's a jazzberry in there, sweet potato vines, and creeping jenny, and cannas and the callas, and then I have another one on repeat. Hear that crunching of the seed heads from the fuzz, and there it is. And maybe we'll just stop the video right there.